their girlfriend like car broke down or something. Oh, I got to drive out 2 hours. I was like, oh man, that's crazy.
Would you do that for your best friend?
Yeah.
Your voice kind of went higher there.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to help you build your brand or business online. More on that later.
Hey, welcome to The Break Room, a place where storytellers chat about life, love, and everything in between. I am Jessica.
I'm Taylor.
I am Austin. Now we're going to do the Asking for a Friend segment where we ask questions about life, love, or anything in between. They can come from coworkers or from you guys through our AMA. We will give our invaluable or unvaluable advice. And today's question is coming from our AMA.
Oh.
But also I have some follow-up questions that may be a little personal.
You're curious about it too,
I'm
aren't
very
you?
curious about this.
What's the question?
So the question is it odd to not have dates even though I'm in my late 20s? And my follow-up question to that is it bad if I haven't been in a serious relationship even though I'm in my late 20s?
Okay, let's start with the first question.
Yes, let's go with the first part.
It's the...
Is it odd to not have dates even if you're in your late 20s?
No.
No, it's definitely not odd. Don't
think-
think of it that way.
I think it's very like normalized these days where people, you don't have to date. You don't have to have the pressure of needing to date.
More common than you think.
Yes.
I think that's something that it's hard to see when you're kind of in your own silo, and hard to see when you're watching media and like out and about. But from talking to friends and from what I've perceived too, it's very common. And it might also be a symptom of kind of today's modern society too. There's a lot of isolation, and it's easy to be very kind of disconnected in other ways too. So it's hard to meet people too. But at the same, to Jessica's point too, it's not something that anyone should feel pressured into doing either. I think like if you are looking to date, I think there's things to talk about there. But at the same time, I think, not dating and not being in a relationship is a very normal lifestyle as well.
I think maybe the biggest thing is like you don't have to compare to like what you see on Instagram or like what other people are going on in their lives. The people that I know are in successful relationships aren't necessarily the people going on a lot of dates either. Sometimes it just takes that one person.
I think it's also like, do you even want to be in a relationship, or do you just feel pressured by society? So think about it.
That's step one.
Yeah.
What do you want? What's best for you right now? And also the second question is an easier one too to answer. We can just nip that in the bud. Is it bad to be single?
Is it maybe not bad? I think
that
this
the
is like
question?
for
To not have been in a serious relationship.
like is it like a red flag almost? I feel like at this point in my late 20s, I should have had the experience of at least a serious relationship. And I'm always wondering like, oh man, like because I feel like, you know, in your 20s, like, oh, it's time to get experience. And like if serious relationship is something that you want and you don't even have like a somewhat serious relationship before, is that a bad thing? Or is that something where you feel, I mean, not bad, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I can relate to that. And it's not a red flag, in my opinion. I think just because you haven't been in a serious relationship doesn't mean you aren't a good person at the core, which I think any relationship is kind of like that, where it's like you're not, just because someone has been in a relationship doesn't mean they're a good partner, though.
Yeah.
So you're a good person to your family, you're a good person to your friends, that technically in terms should relate to how you are as a partner.
And I think that when people ask, because I asked that myself too. I'm just someone that I had my first relationship later in my 20s too. Like when people ask that, I think it's more from like worried that other people will perceive you. It really comes down to just kind of conveying that your intentions are clear and what you're looking for too. And so they don't necessarily care like from that baseline attribute of like haven't had a serious relationship. I think it's the stuff that could be tied to it. Like, oh, you haven't had a serious relationship because you can't commit, you know?
Yeah.
That's like, it's more the can't commit part.
So there's other red flags attached to what that
Yeah.
could be, but they're not always correlated.
Yes, that's a better way to put it. What do you think, Austin?
There is like the stigma, but then I think also things like, oh, are there things that I just need to learn about? Because I think like being single, you're like, oh, I have so much time to do what I want to do. Being in a relationship, I know there's a lot of sacrifice. I'm like, man, I haven't learned how to sacrifice for that. Like maybe for family, sure. But I think it's a little bit different when it's relationship too. Are there other things besides like being ready to do that I should be ready and like thinking of because I haven't had that previous time to have that experience.
I don't think you need to have that figured out before going into a relationship.
Okay.
That's like kind of that's what I used to think that way too. It's like, man, I don't feel good about myself yet to even be ready for that relationship, right?
Yeah.
But I think what I've learned is that that's what a relationship is for you to learn those things. And some people, sure, there's some people that like kind of are looking for partners that are kind of further along in that journey maybe. But I've never met anyone that's like closed off to it like hard, you know?
Because they haven't like, I'm not gonna date this person because they haven't had a serious
Yeah.
relationship.
And I think it's like there's people that enter their first relationship and that they picked up those things really quickly because they are just people that have already thought about it. You know, they're already putting this to practice in their own lives. They're able to handle sacrifice when it comes up. And there's some people that have been in many relationships that still haven't gotten it down. You know what I mean?
Like, do you feel like it's a red flag when it's the opposite sex?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Like,
so you should not think of it yourself.
but I guess because I'm also someone that hasn't had
Yeah.
a very like a super serious relationship, I wouldn't view it as a red flag, but it's more so for myself. Like, if this person, let's say she was dating a guy, he was like a good boyfriend or whatever, and they just broke up for like other reasons. I'm like, man, like I know like you shouldn't compare or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, how do I live up to that already? You know, like not even as like this guy's like good or bad or whatever. It's like, okay, just being a good quote unquote boyfriend. And like right off the bat, if I like, I don't even know what I have to do for that. You know what I mean? Like we have friends like, like their girlfriend like car broke down or something. Like, I got to drive out 2 hours and like that's like the right thing to do. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, maybe you do have some stuff to learn.
But I think when you're in it, you will want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You know what I mean? Like you love her at that point. You know what I mean?
Would you do that for your best friend?
yeah, I think so. It's
Your
just-
voice kind of went higher there.
It also depends on like where
The other best friends are. Are you sure there's not a best friend that's an hour away
Like
from you?
Yeah, your friend is in Irvine and their car broke down. They
If
have
they're
no
in-
one.
there's no one else in
No
Irvine.
one else in Irvine. He doesn't know anyone.
But
in
where do
Irvine.
they live? They live in like LA or something?
Sure. And they need someone to pick them up and then go.
Let me think. My
Okay, no.
best
What if they live
friend-
in San Diego? And they're like, so
San
you have to go from
Diego.
Irvine
Yeah.
to San Diego.
I don't have AAA.
and
I
then go
don't want to pay
back
for
up.
this stuff. Oh, I really need you, Austin. You specifically.
Yeah.
But I've exhausted all the other things.
The thing, okay,
It's either you do it or I just like, I don't know.
I wouldn't ask my friends to do that for me.
Even your best friend?
I wouldn't ask my best friend to drive down to San Diego to figure out my car problems.
Okay, fine. It's all in Irvine then.
Irvine.
It's a 1 hour commitment.
I just need a ride. back
Yeah.
to the mechanic where the car is or something.
and you're not doing anything that day.
I'm sorry, I don't have Uber. I don't have any money.
Is it bad that I would just Venmo them money for Uber? Like that would be my first instinct. Like, I'll send you some money for Uber if they really need it.
And it's a girl.
I'm scared.
And they're scared of taking the Uber.
You know how I
Yeah.
feel about Uber?
And it's the middle of the night.
There's
it's
a
like
lot of kidnapping.
It's 1
There's a
a.m.
lot of
at
kidnappings
night.
right now.
in
Austin.
Irvine? Kidnappings in Irvine? The
Why you-
safest city in the world?
Why are you dismissing my concerns?
Yeah.
This is how I feel. You know, a friend wouldn't actually dismiss these things. I'm in a really, really dark spot right now, Austin.
Why
Anyway, would
won't
really
you
appreciate
help
it.
Me?
Oh gosh. Okay, they're in Irvine.
If it torments you this much, I think that says enough.
Okay, I think it's hard because this is a hypothetical. If it actually happened and they actually need someone, and like I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. There's no one else. Yeah, I would go, but like
But why are you stressing about a hypothetical?
because I'm just like thinking like, at what point does it make me the most logical person to call when you're in Irvine, one of the safest cities in the world?
But you're the only person that they know in SoCal.
Yeah, I'll pay for your Uber.
Logic. The logic police over here. Yeah.
Is that a red flag though? Like for me, is that bad? That'd be like, oh yeah, just I'll like if you can't afford it, like I can help you with an Uber or something instead.
I think we're trying to find the perfect situation that describes this. I still believe that you would be in a relationship setting. Maybe not this specific example, but you're ready. I think you're ready.
It's kind of a red flag. Because
Oh no.
that means you don't care about me enough to make sure I am safe.
Oh, you mean if this was like my girlfriend instead?
Yeah.
No,
like,
that's different.
Or if
Yeah,
I was
so girlfriend, you do it.
if I was like, if this guy was interested in me and I was interested in him,
Yeah.
but not dating,
Yeah.
he didn't make that like, oh, he knows that, oh, I'm scared and I'm in literally the middle of nowhere of Irvine.
Yeah.
And he was just like, sent me money to get an Uber. I'll be like, oh, thanks.
You know, actually, if anything, if it was a girl that I was interested in,
Okay.
more, this is a red flag a little bit, but even more so than if she was my girlfriend. Because if I was just interested in her at that time, I'd be like, oh shoot, this is like my moment, you know? Like this is my end.
And then you're an hour and a half. You're an hour and a half down to San Diego, and she gives you a call. By the way, I just got an Uber. It actually is chill. And you're like, oh, no worries. I'll just turn back now.
Glad you're safe.
Glad you're safe.
That's when you pull over and start crying.
Yeah.
You know.
Basically, it sounds like there has been situations you're hearing from friends of like a boyfriend that did something. You're like, oh, would I have done that?
Yeah,
in that situation.
that's a good thing to do. But would I have done that?
And you took it as a sign that maybe I'm not ready.
Or maybe it's like, dang, maybe not so much that I'm not ready. I was like, dang, I need to like that's something I just need to be mindful if I ever do get in relationships. Like, oh, be ready to sacrifice more, and that's okay. I'm just saying it's like something mentally I have to be prepared for.
Yeah. No, I think that you're doing every boyfriend and person in a relationship is doing this. They're like they're taking notes and comparing to other relationships too. And there's a negative side of that too, where like every couple has different needs and stuff, and have different kind of ways that they kind of communicate and are there for each other. But I think knowing what you like and how you want to support your partner and what you're taking away from other couples, let that feed into how you craft yourself as a partner. But don't see it as like a checklist. I gotta make sure if she's 2 hours away, I am ready to be there for her.
But any more than 2 hours, I don't have to. You know.
I haven't had that example yet, so I will not put that into my system. Don't do that.
The sponsor of today's video is Squarespace. We love Squarespace and have been using their platform to build our brand and business online for years. Squarespace's new design intelligence combines 2 decades of design expertise and cutting-edge AI to empower you to build a website perfectly tailored to fit your needs. Then get more easily discovered with the help of their integrated SEO tools. All sites on Squarespace are optimized to show up more frequently on global search engines. And now with Squarespace Payments, it's easier than ever to manage your payments in one place. Give your customers the option to pay through popular payment methods including Apple Pay, Afterpay, and Klarna. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/wongfu to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now back to the video.
So, welcome to Read Receipts, where we psychoanalyze text messages, read between the lines, and determine how to respond or how not to respond. Let's read those receipts.
This is also from Reddit. Here's the context. Texted her after the first date today. I believe both of us had fun and spent like 1.5 hours on the date.
Oh.
However, she didn't reply to my text about seeing her again. Ooh. Does it mean that she didn't have a good time, or am I thinking too much about this? And also, should I text her now or wait for her to text me? Would appreciate the help. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's read the text.
And this is the text, right? Hey, hope you reached home safe. I had a great time tonight and would love to see you again soon. Also, thanks for introducing me to brown sugar boba. Probably my new fave. Laughing face emoji.
Yes, I did. I'm so glad you like the boba.
She did respond.
She did respond?
She did respond. But she just didn't respond to the would love to see you again soon comment.
Yeah. And also noticing like the discrepancy in how much he wrote and then she wrote, I was like, ooh, I've been there before, buddy. And I don't know. I feel like this is a very relatable thing to happen.
Yeah. I think some positives to take away. She responded.
Yeah.
Yes.
She responded pretty fast. Within
that's good.
Within a minute.
Within a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
She used a lot of exclamation points. And
Did she?
She used 3 total. She said, "Yes, I did!" Exclamation
Boba!
point. I'm so glad you like the boba! Exclamation point! Exclamation point.
What does that mean to a guy? Because I use exclamation points a lot.
Okay, yeah, I'm just joking. But she responded and she's speaking positively about the night.
Is she?
Okay, she didn't. Okay, we don't know. We definitely don't know if she wants to meet up again.
Wait, but did she respond positively though? Because she said, yes, I did. And I was assuming that was, hope you reached home safe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. She doesn't say she like had a great time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think the tone of her message is positive.
I think it's she's being at least polite.
Right.
And she didn't hate the guy.
Uh-huh.
I get the sense that it probably didn't go as well on her side.
We don't know,
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
but you're inferring that
inferring.
because it's also short, right?
It's short. And she also didn't say, I also had a good time. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's actually more indicative than her not even responding to hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
You know?
I think because there's a lot of questions, your next response, you have a few options because you're trying to get more information. There might be a real situation where you just need to give her space to or them space to think about and meditate on
Process
the
the
night.
date.
Because there's a lot of initial reactions to the date that might not reflect how they fully feel. They're just kind of still collecting their thoughts. And I think if you went out the gate trying to initiate another date, it could yield like a no.
Do you think he was just being too aggressive in this first to even ask, would love to see you again soon? Do you think that's already too
I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't think I would have either. But what if it was a really great date though? You're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this girl again. You know what I mean?
I think what you want is to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
And that's the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I would do is at least talk, like do an inside joke or something about the night. Like maybe do the boba thing.
So the boba thing you think was good. I think that also
Yeah.
I think that was a good thing.
It opens the door for her to respond
Yeah.
in so many ways that could lead to a second date. I really like brown sugar boba. So she has the option of saying, oh, this place is actually my favorite brown sugar boba place. And then they can go there. But
But she didn't say
she
anything.
did not.
Yeah. Because that's what you're probably looking for. You're looking if she wants to initiate another hangout first.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, that's a minus like 1 point. But now it is in your court to initiate a second one, but you need to like ramp into it slowly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into like the girl's shoes for a second. If you see this message from the first guy, do you like if you're first off, if you're interested in the guy, would you respond like that? Like in any scenario? And then also if you're not interested, is this also how you would have responded? Is this like the default response of if you're not interested?
I think if I wasn't interested, I would respond like this, where I would just hit certain points and not really dive too deep into I really enjoyed this night.
Yeah. So
I feel like if I enjoyed the night, I would say I had fun. The fact that she didn't say anything is kind of already like telling that she might not be the most interested or had a good time on the date.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it wouldn't be overthinking to be like, oh yeah, she didn't mention having a good time. That is a sign that she.
It is a sign that she's probably, or she's just, I don't know. It's also, everyone has very different texting styles too.
What time of day is it? Because
It's night.
yeah, it's night. It's
Why aren't
it's
they
not
getting
even that
dinner?
late.
Why aren't they getting dinner?
They didn't get dinner.
Yeah. Wait,
Maybe they had
a
an early
great
dinner.
time tonight, but
Maybe-
it's only 6 p.m.
That's why she's not interested. She's like, you called this tonight? I have my whole night free still, and you decided to end it.
Just boba.
It's possible. What if she was in a hurry though? Like if you're in a hurry and you just wanted to, like, let's say she did like the guy, right? Or let's say you were interested in this guy. You're like, oh, he texted me. I don't want to leave him on red for too long. You send him a really quick text and you didn't have time to think about the full response.
Yeah, maybe she's
that
on
a
her way
possibility?
to. She might be busy. Yeah.
But then if he's posting this on Reddit, there has to be some time between that text and when it was posted. So that means she never sent anything after that.
Yeah.
Is already a sign.
Even just like
Ooh.
the choice to get advice creates a story of like
Yeah.
what happened after. That's true. The idea that this happened at 6 p.m. is pretty funny because that leaves a lot of room for her to have a second date that
Yeah.
day with
Oh.
someone else.
That is true.
Oh, what if she's on a second date?
You know-
oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my guy. Oh man,
That's why she couldn't respond. She's like, I'm on the way to see this other guy.
I'm
And,
getting dinner right now.
and that might actually be something I enjoy. So I can't say I enjoy this one yet. But I'm glad you like the boba.
Yeah, and the fact that she didn't use any emojis kind of a very, very telling sign.
Yeah. I was gonna say if there's like at least like a boba emoji, I'd be like, you know what? She's trying to at least still have fun,
Yeah.
but not even an emoji. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's rough.
It's rough out here, buddy.
If you were this guy, you think he shouldn't fully give up yet. You try to at least.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a world he could salvage this?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
I think
Okay.
there's room.
if she really didn't like the date, she would probably either just give him a long message of thanks for hanging out, but I don't think see this going anywhere kind of message, or just ghosting.
Don't ghost.
I know, don't ghost.
Like ghosting.
But people do it.
Wait, what if he ghosts her there? Is that fine?
What? Why would he ghost there?
In the sense of like he reading into it, he's like, oh, she's
Oh,
not
no,
interested.
don't do that.
Don't do that.
He still
had
is
a good
interested.
Time. Yeah.
You
But
should,
then
he should at
you
least
save
see
yourself
it
from the
through.
pain.
But there's not enough information to
But
know
closure.
fully that it's a
maybe
closed
she's
door.
Yeah, maybe she's just busy. Maybe she's just very like bad at texting, where it's just very like hard and just the way she types.
Yeah, she's one of those people that responds to the last point, not to the first point.
Yeah.
Which is why when you're texting, I think like don't overload your text messages with like 5 different like prompts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like when you ask like more than one question per
And
text?
they're gonna there's a likelihood that they're only gonna address one of those things. Signs that this door is closing, but don't. To see it, a couple more messages.
The door's closing. You still put your foot down and be like,
Yeah.
hey, wait, pause.
Hey, one more idea for a date. Do you want to try this thing? I found this other boba spot.
Or how about brown sugar coffee?
Oh,
Is that a thing? That's a thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
not
door's-
completely doomed
The
yet.
door is there.
Take a photo of you back at that boba shop, and you have a cute dog with you because you have a cute dog, and be like, "Oh, looks like Charlie loves the boba too."
Can dogs drink boba?
That was a joke. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh my god.
And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, your dog's so cute. Let's go on another date." Well, that was read receipts. We had fun. What did you think of those text messages? Is there anything that we missed that you caught? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, and if you've been in that similar situation too, what have you have done, or what did you do?
And if you want to submit your own questions and text messages, check out the form below.
Woohoo!
All right, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.